Thank you for the introduction. I would like to say that it's a privilege to be here today with ACTLA. I'm a corporate lawyer by training, so I can't always, I understand, but haven't really experienced as much as you have, all of you, in terms of the litigation side of practice. But it's a privilege to be here today, especially among some great and inspirational lawyers on this panel. So I am very grateful to be here today to share a fairly simple message with you about how you can find support during the strange times that we find ourselves in. As you heard from my introduction, Assist is a small and nimble organization. We have 3 employees. We were in the office on Friday, March 13th, Friday the 13th. The significance was not lost on us. And we don't have our own premises. We have offices provided to us by JSS barristers in Calgary. And so when they sent an email around to their staff on the Sunday saying, you know, they were going to be moving to close the office, the obvious thing for me to do was to respond and say, look, we're out of here first because, you know, we're your guests, and I would expect to be the last ones allowed in. So I had a full home office at home, and I grabbed my laptop and my monitors, and it was pretty good to go. We have an admin coordinator, and he's got lots of stuff. He even has his own server, so up and running, no problem. And we're both introverts, so that wasn't that big a deal for us. But our program manager is an extrovert, and it's been harder for her. She moved her desktop home and had to do her own setup, but she was up and running that Monday as well. But it's going to be harder for some people based on their personalities. I'm a homebody. I'm spending time with my dog. I can cope with this. Other people have different challenges. People who are trying to work from home while looking after young children. It's a special category. We have a lot of people who would like to have the luxury of working from home but no longer have their jobs. So lots of sensitivity out there and lots of issues. So we got busy right away populating our website with resources about COVID and working from home and the various things that were going on. And we're a very community-based organization. We believe in building communities. So we wanted to do as much outreach as we can. So we partnered with the Chartered Professional Accountants Assist program. They use the same provider, and they modeled their program on us. We put together a webinar series on resiliency, mindfulness, and core strength, physical strength, the exercises you can do from home, and you can find those on our website. We also ran a parenting during the pandemic presentation with a clinical social worker who's also the mother of 8-year-old triplet boys. So she had some really good insight into the challenges around parenting from home. So we got things up pretty quickly. What we're seeing now, you know, we're coming out of the first phase of COVID, is there is a suspicion or a fear that phase 2 of COVID may not be when the virus returns in the fall, but the mental health complications that people are experiencing as a result of the disruptions, the lack of contact. So let me tell you just a little bit about Assist and how we can help. Assist's mission, it covers what we do, who we support, and how we do it. So what we do is we are enhancing the immediate and long-term well-being of whom? Alberta lawyers, articling students, law students, and their dependent families. And we do this how? We do it through confidential and non-judgmental psychological assistance, peer support, education, and community. People generally know most about our professional counseling, and I really wanted to address this with you today. Professional counseling services remain available, but move to an online or telephone model. This is being called telehealth, evidently. This is a new term for me. And this is going to be the new normal for a little while. There are different platforms. There's one called doxy.me that a lot of psychologists are using. I think Alberta Health Services is using it. It's secure. Other people, and it depends on the counselor, it depends on the client, are comfortable with telephone interactions, particularly if they have a longer-term relationship. Online counseling is surprisingly effective, and I have used it myself. Both the counselor and the client get to see each other's faces. And sure, it's not the same as sitting right across the table from somebody, but you can have that level of interaction and you can read body languages and faces. There was a really interesting editorial in the Globe on the weekend called "Psychotherapy is Now in the Digital World, Should It Ever Go Back?" It was written by a psychiatry resident in Toronto who was talking about how well online counseling is working, and that the key to the counseling relationship is the therapeutic alliance, which is the relationship between the therapist and the patient or client in our world. And that can actually happen successfully using the online platform. The Psychologists College has now given guidelines and protocols for psychologists to return to their offices and see patients, but that involves masks and sanitation. There are some procedures. They also have to get the masks first, which is a supply issue. So not all psychologists are back in their offices, and everybody has different comfort levels. But in-person counseling is going to involve the psychologist and the client wearing masks, and that may be more of a barrier for some people than communicating via an online platform. So we have a couple of options. I would tell people who are sort of putting off dealing with the things that are on their minds, waiting for that in-person opportunity, that maybe they shouldn't wait. Really, we don't know how long it's going to be before things like wearing masks and these appointments are going to be lifted. So if you're waiting for that before you're seeking counseling, I'd be happy to talk to you about how online counseling can work, and so can our counselors. In March and April, we didn't see the spike that we thought we would see. We thought there would be a lot of people reaching out immediately for counseling. That hasn't happened. We're seeing it now in May, and I'm waiting for my May stats to come in. But we have counseling available, and it can be effective, and the clinical results from online counseling are positive. We also offer crisis counseling. That is a 24/7 telephone line manned by a professional psychologist. It has always been telephone based because people might phone at 2 in the morning. The psychologists carry a phone. So that service is still available, and it's really important. Alberta lawyers do use Assist. In 2019, which was our busiest year we've had so far, we supported about 10% of the legal population. And since 2008, on a cumulative basis, our estimate is that about 20% of Alberta lawyers have used Assist. So we're in this odd situation where there's a lot of stigma around accessing counseling services or help seeking, admitting that we're not perfect and in control of everything. But that's quite a large number. And we know that lawyers often have access to employee assistance programs, or they prefer to pay for counseling on their own. So stigma is out there, but the sheer number of lawyers who are accessing counseling is one of our most powerful tools in defeating stigma. Assist also operates a peer support program. We have about 130 trained peer support volunteers. We are continuing to match callers, articling students, lawyers, sometimes law students, with our peer support lawyer volunteers. People are meeting having telephone meetings or online coffee. So that program is up and running. We've also set up an online community built off one of our little support programs that was called Red Mug Coffee Circles, where we would have a senior lawyer in the courthouse cafeteria or near the courthouse who was just available for young lawyers or students to sit down with. We'd buy them a coffee, and they could talk about some of the issues that they were dealing with. So we moved that online, and we have a group of about 5 or 6 of our senior peer support volunteers, and we have coffee online on Mondays at lunch, and young lawyers and students join. We have lawyers from all across the province. I'd like to continue this even after we're done with the pandemic, because we're able to reach lawyers who are in small communities and in different cities. So if that's something, if you'd like to meet with a group of lawyers, all you need to do is email us for the login and have a cup of coffee with us at lunch on Mondays. We're live streaming our yoga program. So that is a free yoga class, live streamed Wednesdays at lunch. It's taught by a lawyer in Calgary. And sometimes we have about 30 people out. I mean, we have a much better take up in the online world. Some people have small children or pets that interact with them while they do yoga. This is just part of our living in the world that we're living with. I mentioned earlier, we've got some webinars on our website on mindfulness, core strength with a physiotherapist, and building resilience. So those are some resources you can access, as well as the other resources in our COVID section. Assist can also link you to the Lawyer 12-step groups. We hear that there is increased consumption of both alcohol and cannabis during this time, and there may be people out there who are concerned about their substance consumption. So Assist arose out of the Lawyer 12-step community, so you can certainly contact us. We can help connect you with peer support, counseling, all kinds of resources. The Lawyer 12-step groups are meeting online, and again, they're having the same experience, that they've got these friendships building across the province and not just the people they regularly see. So in the handout that I prepared, you see our numbers. There's a number for professional counseling. There's a number for our other programs. You can always call me directly. That number is forwarded to my cell phone. And we're just happy to chat and provide support to you in whatever way you need. So please do feel free to reach out. You are not alone. We're all experiencing the impacts individually based on our own circumstances, but we are experiencing them together, and we can be strong. We can find our resilience by being together. So that is my message for today. I see that there might be an issue about questions getting posted in the Q&A forum, so I'm just going to hang on for a moment in case there's anything that anyone would like me to address. And I apologize, I had another commitment at 12:30, and I've let them know that I might be a couple of minutes late. So I'll just hang on for a minute in case there's are some questions. But just know that Assist is continuing to operate almost seamlessly, and we are here for you. And as we have many volunteers who are eager to have the opportunity to provide support. We don't get much credit for being a caring profession if you look at the public image of lawyers, but most lawyers do actually want to give back. And when we meet with our young lawyers and students and talk about reaching out to lawyers and asking to meet, if they can meet for coffee, to maybe learn more about the practice area or to share some experiences, so many lawyers are really eager to say, yeah, I can take 15 minutes and talk to you. So really important for you to know that there are people who want to help you, and it may be an adversarial profession in some respects, but it isn't when it comes to how we can help each other.